Hi, this is Ken Rosever. We're going to talk about the probability of getting a full house. This problem came up in class, and we tried one approach to it, and it didn't agree with the book. And so after I took it home, I'm like, all right, I'll try a tree diagram on this, and we'll see what happens. So when we do a tree diagram, we try to outline all the events. Now, with a deck of cards, getting a five hands, there's a lot of different outcomes. So rather than do every possible event, I'm only going to do the favorable ones. The favorable events, and I'm going to attach the probabilities to each branch so that at the end we can add up all the probabilities of all the favorable outcomes and thereby get the probability of the whole thing happening. So here we go. Um, Whenever we pick cards, we draw a first card always. And our chance of drawing the very first card is 52 out of 52. So we have a 100% chance of drawing our first card. But then if we're trying to get a full house, we only want one of two things to happen. Either we draw another card that matches our first card, or we draw another card. And actually, there's nothing else that can happen at this point, right? Because if we don't draw our first card, a match for it, then we've just drawn the second card. Right, now let's continue up this branch here. We can again, on the third draw, we can draw another match for our first card, thus completing our three of a kind. A full house is three of one kind, two of another, so it's a, three of a kind and a two of a kind. Um, we could do that, but we could here if we did like three twos in a, or two twos in a row and then we drew something else, that's a possibility. So I'm going to do that possibility down here. So there's a chance we could draw our second card. Continuing with this one up here. If we drew a first, now we have three matches. So we better not draw a fourth match, because we're not looking for a four of a kind, we're looking for a full house. So we need to draw here necessarily the a second, a second card. That's different. And then in the last event, we need to draw that second card once again. And that's all that can happen along this top chain. If we draw three of the first card in a row, we need to draw two of the second card in a row. However, if we draw two of the first and then one of the second, well then when we get to here we have some possibilities. We can draw the first card again, completing our three of a kind, or we could draw another one of the second card, which would complete, now we have two pairs, right? Going with this, the the top string here, if we want F, F, S, F, well now we need to finish up with an S, right? That way we have three Fs and two S's, three of the first card we drew and two of the second card. Down here we have two Fs and two S's, so we could end in one of two different ways. We could draw another F, and then the Fs would be, we'd have three of the first card and two of the second, completing our full house. Or possibly, we could draw a third S to complete our full house. And that's all the possibilities that can happen on the top. And on the bottom, our third card could be an F, or it could be an S, right? In the top way, we would have two Fs and one S. So our next card after that could be an F or an S. Either one would be fine. If we had F, F, S, or F, S, F, F, then we better end. We already have three Fs along this, so we better end with an S, right? Or else we would have four of a kind and one single card that doesn't match anything. So to get the full house, three Fs and two S's is fine. If we did F, S, F, S, well now on this one we have the option again of going F, or equivalently S. Either one will give us that full house. Now let's go to the bottom. All right. If we have S and an S and an S, well, we have two S's and one F, so we still have two possibilities for the next card. We have, I'm sorry, this is getting a little messy. We have an F or an S, right? But if we draw that third S, then we better end up with an F here to complete the full house. If we draw this F, then we have two Fs and two S's, so we have two options. We can end with an F, have three Fs, or we can end with an S. And that completes our tree diagram of the favorable outcomes. So I'm going to pause there because I have some students coming in.